Page 43, Fanfare. On page 42, they're introducing you to the inversions of the triads, or triad inversions, chord inversions. An inversion is when you simply turn it over. You rearrange the notes. They're showing C. In the middle of page 42, you see the first one there is a C chord here. And all they're doing is turning it over. They're putting the C on top, and they're putting the E on top. So you got root position is when it's arranged so that it's every other note. There's a note in between. In root position, the bottom note identifies the chord. So this, because the bottom note is a C, it's a C chord. Now there's a little more to it than that, but let's just keep it simple. Let's just go with that for now. That's close enough. And then the second one they show is the F chord. The F is on the bottom, and you can turn these over. It doesn't change the name of the chord so much as it's still an F chord. And then the last one is a G chord, because the bottom note's G and they turn it over. So you got root position. You invert it the first time, that's first inversion. Invert it again, that's second inversion. If I invert it again, I'm back to root position. So in a 3-note chord, you have root position and 2 inversions. First inversion and second inversion. First inversion, second inversion. Now if I go down, I go from here, put the G on the bottom. This is still known as second inversion, because when we do these numbers and all, we're going up. So even if I go down, this is still identified as second inversion. It doesn't matter which direction I go, the number remains the same. So if I say play a C chord in second inversion, that's what you would play. Somewhere, you may not know where to play it, but that's the chord, second inversion. They all work the same way. You see them a lot in music. At the bottom of the page, they give you the broken chords, and then the block chords for each inversion. You get a feel for these patterns of where these notes are to each other, and the pattern, the feel for it is the same for all 3 of these chords, because we're just using the black keys, so the physical feeling is identical. You're just on different notes. That comes in handy. So that's what we're doing here on page 43 on these lessons. So let's talk about fanfare. Now in the middle of the page, they're still using tonic, subdominant, and dominant. The names of the chords. Remember, every note in a scale, let's take C major. Every note in the scale is numbered 1 through 7. That's why the C chord in C major is known as a 1 chord, because it's built on step 1, the C. 2, 3, 4, okay. And then the F chord in C major is known as a 4 chord because it's built on step 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the G chord is the 5 chord because it's built on, well, they have the names too. The tonic, the subdominant, and the dominant. You don't use that much. The point is, you could be reading something or talking to somebody and they use this kind of stuff. At least you maybe have an idea what they're talking about. Most of the time we call them by the numbers. 1, the 4, and the 5 chord. That's it. Now let's take a look at 43, fanfare. Let's go through my little process of learning a piece of music, because we're going to be using these chord inversions in the right hand. It's 2 lines long, treble, bass, clef. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major. Make sure you're doing the C major scale, 1 octave up and down, slowly. It's really the trill and the dropping the wrist and that kind of stuff that's going to help you. And it's a 4/4 time signature. I see quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. Hopefully we can handle all that. In the right hand first, let's look what we got. The C chord, 1, 3, 5. And then the next measure, first inversion, down here. And then the third measure, back up to first inversion. And then second inversion. And then second line, the second inversion. And then you're going through them all. Here, 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 here. And then the last 2 measures. The next last measure, that's actually a G chord. Recognize the inversion? Because the first inversion is here, and I turn it over once. That's first inversion. That's all we're doing. Now this is a good exercise in being able to move around. Remember, we lift up. Well, we're lifting up and moving. Don't keep them. Don't rely on the pedal to connect. Try and connect these as best you can with the hand. And you just have to lift up and move. You got to know where you're going and which fingers are involved, and you put your hand in that position as you go up there and you're ready to go. You have to just practice going back and forth until you get the idea of this movement and the pattern of the notes and all. And then here, same thing. You're just practicing back and forth until you get a feel for this. It'll take a while, but it comes. You have to kind of look down at the keyboard when you're moving around like this, but try and get the notes down at the same time. I'm not very good at it, but maybe you can do that. You're just lowering the whole hand down. Stay relaxed. Don't tense up. That messes it all up. Stay relaxed. Let the wrist collapse a little bit here. I'm not playing the music. I'm just playing the chords here. Trying to get all the notes down at the same time. Listen very carefully. That's the challenge. In the left hand, you have C's all the way through until the next to the last measure on the second line, it's a G's. Well, okay. We got enough to think about in the right hand. So you put them together, it's... I'm sticking with the fingering in the book because once you get accustomed to this pattern of what these chords feel like in these different inversions, there's actually a much better fingering, which we'll get to later. But this is what we need to cover now. We need to get this feeling of this pattern. As far as articulation goes, if you can figure out a melody, you might figure out the phrases. I don't know. That's a phrase. That's a phrase. Sounds like the second line is all one phrase to me. I have to play it kind of quickly so I can hear if there's a melody or not, and if so, what is a musical thought? What is a musical sentence? So I'm going to play phrasing wise. It'll be on the first line, each two measures is a phrase. And the second line, I'm going to connect it all. I'm going to treat the whole thing as one phrase. Then the dynamics is F for forte. You decide what it is. Just don't get carried away with forte, just loud. You really should practice this at all the dynamic levels, or most of them. For instance, just pretend there's a repeat sign at the end and you just keep repeating it. Play it really, really soft. How soft can you play this? You're very light, very light. Stay relaxed here. Very light. And then you play it again a little louder. And play it again a little louder. And try it really loud. A lot of weight on this one, but keep the wrist relaxed now. Don't tense up and row. Don't row on loud. As far as the speed goes, it's just not fast or slow in the middle. Just whatever. We're not interested in speed. You don't have to be going quick. That comes later. All right, right now you just want to make sure you can get these down at the same time if you can. I don't, but maybe you can. And then, of course, they have added pedal. Well, with chords, it's very choppy. So unless you want that choppy style, you have to have pedal to connect the chords. It's nice to have the overtones, too. I want to start the sound first before I release the dampers, so I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. And I'm going to change the pedal at each measure here. And to change it, you lift up and right back down. But I'm going to do it right after I play the notes. So in the first measure, it's here. And then after I play the note. There. See that little overlap? As long as it's a little overlap, the ear doesn't mind. It's too quick. If it's a big overlap, we got a problem. Don't. Now at the end of the second measure, I want to hear the phrasing. So there I'm going to lift the pedal up with the hand so I get a little silence. Lift up. would suggest you pedal it. You can experiment with the pedal and see what you think. Try different things out. Let's play it together very slowly and check all the notes and rhythms. Rhythms aren't a problem, it's the notes. I'm not going to do the pedal because you can hear it cleaner, or you can hear it better without the pedal. So you can pedal if you want to, but I'm going to leave the pedal out on this. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's play it together slowly. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. 2, 4. 2. 2, 4. 2. 2, 3, 4.